Hi everyone, this is Mistress Sweet Pea, Mistress of Tech, and welcome to another one of my podcasts today. I hope everyone is having a fabulous day. Anyways, something different today. We're not talking technology. Who is your favorite actor or actress? Well, for people who know me very well, know that my all-time favorite actress, yes, Clara Bow is one of them, but in terms of someone who's more recent, my favorite actress is Drew Barrymore. Now, some people think everyone has their own likes and with who they like for actors and actresses. For me, I've always been very fond of Drew Barrymore. She is phenomenal. She's flawless. She's real. She's relatable. Like, who cannot relate to Drew Barrymore? I mean, she's just outstanding. I think the world of her, and hopefully one day I can meet her because I would probably be like, oh my god, it's Drew Barrymore, and I'd be like, oh, anyways, you get it. You know how it is when you meet a celebrity. It's like, ah. Anyway, so today's podcast, we're going to talk about. I'm going to do a podcast about Drew Barrymore, and hopefully somewhere someday she gets to see this podcast, and if she does, I am one of your biggest fans. She is the most relatable to me. She's the most relatable actress in Hollywood. So let's start off and we'll talk about Drew Barrymore. Basically, she is a super famous kid. Again, she went through a really rough childhood. She broke through all of that, which all the labels people put on her. She broke through that, she became an amazing actress. I've seen I think there might have been one or two movies of hers I have not seen, but other than that, I've seen every movie of hers. She is phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. So let's go ahead and get started about Drew Barrymore. But before we do that, I wanted to give a huge shout out to Bill Hedges for allowing me to use his Lost in Space Starship as for today for my podcast. As you can see the lights in the back, and you can see the rest of it. So, anyways, I want to give a shout out to Bill. Thank you, Bill, for allowing me to use your spaceship for my podcast. So, let's get down to it. So, Drew Barrymore, she was born into Hollywood. She came from a lineage of other people before her who, in the Barrymore name, that had been famous. So she was born in 1975 into a famous acting family. Her grandparents and great aunts were basically famous movie actors and actresses before she was even born. Like her name is Drew Blythe Barrymore, born February 22nd, 1975. She's an Aquarius. Well, I think she's still an Aquarius. I'm an Aquarius, so maybe that's why I'm kind of drawn to her like that. But anyways, she was born outside of California, outside of Los Angeles. Her mom, her name, and I'm probably going to botch this. She's known as Jade Barrymore, but her real name is Idiko Jade Mako. Again, I probably completely botched it, but she goes by the name Jade Barrymore. She was a struggling actress who picked up side jobs here and there, trying to make ends meet for her and her daughter. Her dad, Drew Barrymore Jr., came into the legendary Barrymore acting family with grandparents and great-grandparents going way back to the 1800s. So this girl's got acting in her blood going way back. So that's awesome. Her parents' relationships were her mom and dad had a very very not so good relationship. This was before she was born. Her father had issues with drugs and alcohol, abusive behavior. Her mother left her husband when she was still pregnant at the time. Drew had written that her father was basically gone from her life by the time she was 6 months. He would kind of drift in and out of her life from time to time, but she, for the most part, it's been just her and mom throughout the whole process. So from the start, it's mostly, again, her and her mom. They lived in a duplex apartment in Hollywood, pretty modest lifestyle. Her mom knew that Drew was going to go far. I mean, if you look at the commercials from the 80s, I mean, she was in commercials starting from the early 80s. I mean, she was amazing. But what really broke her out into the role was E.T. Now, all Gen Xers out there, most of you guys have seen E.T. And if you haven't, I suggest seeing it. It is one of those movies that I love it. It's a tearjerker sometimes. Some parts are like, you get the box of tissues out, but it is just an awesome movie. Drew was phenomenal as a child in that movie. Like, she did amazing. So, again, Drew was the she started doing commercials. She was been around the camera since she was a baby. She did commercials. She was cast for a TV series called Suddenly Love at about 2 years old. She playing a little boy, which was interesting. I like that. So not long after that, she did commercials. She was in a TV movie called Boogie, or Boggie, or Bogie, however you want to say it. I call it Boggie, but anyway, she got her small role as William Hurt's daughter in a sci-fi thriller called Altered State back in 1980. But again, her home life was a mixture of normal stuff and not so normal Hollywood. She had a lot of issues with having to have, as most people know her history, she had it rough growing up, but she came through all of those obstacles as she got older. So moving forward, she grew up on she grew up first on Poinsett Place in West Hollywood, moved with her mom to Sherman Oaks when she was 7. They moved around quite a bit. But here's the key. School and set life overlapped very early. So by the time she should have been worrying about spelling tests and going to school and and recess and playing with her friends, she was going to auditions. So she was mostly, from my research, from what I've been told and from what I've read, is she was homeschooled a lot. She, most kids her age are out playing with the kids, recess, what you name it, not her. She was going to auditions. Again, she was doing commercials on the E.T. set. Is when she was the E.T. movie was her breakout role. Her normal school life was continuously interrupted. So at that point, they eventually homeschooled her. There was no way for her to actually be going to school and doing auditions at the same time. There was just no time. So when we talk about Drew Barrymore's childhood, there's a few things we need to remember. She was born into a very famous acting family, but she was raised by a single mom. So kudos to her mom as well, in the aspect of being a single mother and raising a child by herself, especially in Hollywood. That's not something that's easy to do. And anyone that says it's easy needs to be... Anyways, her father was mostly absent from her life as he was struggling with his own addictions. She started acting as soon as she could walk, doing commercials, and she also was doing TV programs before she was in kindergarten. She did attend regular school, elementary school, but her life was split between being in school and on set, and so she eventually was homeschooled. So this mixed legacy name, unstable home life, early work, there was not much structure for her growing up. But then again, when E.T. came out in 1982, she played the role of Gertie, which is this funny little sister of a boy who finds an alien and helps him to get home. E.T. phone home. I said it wrong, but I always love that. And if you've seen the movie at the end when E.T. is going home, come on, who hasn't cried about that scene? I can still I'm not going to cry about it, but that's very an emotional scene. I remember watching it in the theater, and you can hear everyone crying, and it's very touching, Anyways, the E.T. movie was about friendship, family, and an alien stranded on Earth that was trying to get back home. It made Drew famous. Her acting, if you look at Drew's acting in the movie E.T., for a little girl her age, she was phenomenal. You could tell she was born to act. It was amazing. So, next section we're going to discuss is about after E.T. So she's growing up. She's known in Hollywood. People know her. They know of her. So outside, she looked like a happy childhood star. You can even see her. I think she was on the the Johnny Carson show. She looked like a happy childhood star, but on the inside, she was suffering. She had a lot of demons she was trying to battle. Her mom took her to nightclubs when she was a kid. She was around adult parties where there was drugs and alcohol. And from my sources, I've been told that she started drinking as alcohol at 9 years old, and um, started smoking marijuana and using other drugs by the time she was 10 to 12 years old. So I don't, again, I'm not sure if this is accurate, but this is what my research has indicated to me. By her early teens, she was considered a troublemaker in Hollywood. So basically, the studios didn't want to hire her because of her behavior and addiction. Her career was kind of almost at a standstill. But then what happened was, at 13, she was sent to a mental health facility where she got help, and it was not just a typical run-of-the-mill mental health facility. She was at one of those elite facilities where she could stay there. She stayed there for about a year. She was legally separated from her parents in her mid-teens, so she was basically on her own as a kid. On paper, she had a dream life, famous. I mean, come on, think about it, everyone. You know, you're young, you're a kid, you're famous, you're raking in all this money, which of course you're young, you can't, it's entrusted to someone. But she's, she was born into this famous, this Barrymore family name of actors and actresses before her time. But then, in reality, she was a little kid who was just basically picked up and boom, dropped into an adult world without any supervision, without anyone there to give her some guidance or protect her from the elements out there. So after the E.T. show and after her breakthrough with E.T., her mom started taking her to, again, they went to the nightclubs, they even went to Studio 54. And everyone, yes, there was a movie for Studio 54. It was pretty much along the line of what really happened at Studio 54. So now imagine this 7-8-year-old kid at an adult nightclub, Studio 54, back in the 70s. Anyways, that was crazy to even consider that. So she was around all these people, all these other celebrities she was seeing people being hooking up. She was seeing people doing drugs and alcohol and all that. No kid should have to witness that. That's horrible. So Drew had mentioned that she, according to my research, she indicated that she has gone to multiple clubs a week and let her mom's friends become her crowd. So she was the only kid in a room of adults. Sleepovers with those friends, her friends that she had sleepovers with, they would sit around, smoke cigarettes, drink. No kid should be doing that at that age. It's horrible. So by 10, she was getting high by the time she was 10, she was getting high with her mother's friends. By 12, she was using cocaine. I mean, the media loved the story of this wild child at the time, and again, because of the Barrymore name. The paparazzi, tabloids, they love to tie into the fact of her partying habits and made her sound like she was this wild child person. When, in my opinion, if I had to make a guess, she was hurting. She didn't want, I don't know her. I wish I knew her personally, but I would think no child would want to see that. You want to be a child. You want to enjoy your childhood, not, be an adult at 7 years old and be subjected to all that stuff. So at the age of 13 is when everything crashed. Her mother signed her into rehab. She was considered self-destructive. They put her away. She called it it was called like an institution for strict rules and tough therapy. She basically Drew mentioned later on that it was a horrible and dark place that she lived, but she needed it. She didn't know how to live without getting high. So for a teenager or a kid / preteen teenager, she didn't know any other life other than getting up and drinking, getting high. That was all she knew. She didn't know anything else. She didn't know how to be anything else because of that. Man, that's not good. So again, inside this mental health facility, she did group therapy with other teens who are also struggling with similar problems. She said she bonded with kids. She actually was being around other people helped her to deal with what she had to go through. Some of the tools she learned was about being honest about what's going on, talking about the pain you're going through, owning your actions, and dealing with the shame They basically made it come to life of, wow, it opened up a sense of awareness to her that she needed, that she didn't get from her mom. When she finally got out of the facility, the professionals of the hospital recommended something huge. They told her that it would be in her best interest if she would legally separate from her mother. So at 14, Drew went to court and got emancipated, which meant that she was declared an adult in the eyes of the law and was no longer under her mom's legal authority. So what that basically means is that whatever, any movie or anything she did in the future, any income proceeds go directly to her, not her mother. Because again, when you're a minor, your proceeds from whatever you do go to your parents. She got emancipated. I can never say that word. You know what I mean. I can never say that word. But anyways, she got the courts to declare her a legal adult. So she's not under her mom anymore. She's not under her mom's authority. She said it was necessary to do this, but it was also at the same time incredibly painful. I mean, come on, it's her mom. Like, would you want to be considered legally, would you want that for yourself? I know I wouldn't. If my mom was around and I was young, I wouldn't have wanted that. So again, she did that, and then so by the time most kids were starting high school, she was already a global star. She'd been in regular nightclubs. She's lived a life. By the time she was a teenager, she lived a life that most adults have already lived. So she's kind of, as a teenager, was already kind of like in her 30s. It was an emotional weight that she carried throughout those years. So now we're going to go into some of the movies that she's been in. And she's been in a lot. I mean, this podcast could probably go on for like 2 hours. I mean, she's been in a lot of films. But I'm not going to go into that. I'm just going to go into like a brief synopsis of each film she's been in. So in 1984, she starred in a movie called Firestarter. It was a sci-fi thriller based on a Stephen King book. Drew played a little girl who could set things on fire with her mind. I highly recommend that movie. That was amazing. Drew was phenomenal in that movie. That was definitely one. I don't even know if that's around anymore, but if you can get a copy of it, I highly recommend it, especially if you like Stephen King. The next movie from the same year was Irreconcilable Differences. It was more of a comedy drama with a young girl trying to divorce herself from her parents. So this was a little more relatable to her at the time. Cat's Eye came out in 1985. Again, another Stephen King movie. She appeared to be a girl that was in danger and she was trying to protect. She was trying to become protected. A cat tries to protect her. It's actually kind of cute movie. I mean, it's Stephen King, but still, I like the movie. I highly recommend it. Then in 1986, there was a movie called Babes in Toyland. It was a fantasy TV movie. She plays a girl who gets sent from the real world into a magical land and helps capture villains. It's a really cool movie. And then now, that was the 80s. So now if we fast forward to the 90s, after she got cleaned up and was out of rehab, she was focusing more on a little more risque type movies, more to say, hey, look, I'm not a kid anymore. I'm not doing E.T. I want to do something different. And she did. So in 1992, there was a movie called Poison Ivy. She played Ivy, which is a troubled teen who claimed her way into a girl's rich family and caused all sorts of drama for the family. And then in 1992 was Gun Crazy. She played a girl who was abused, falls in love with a prisoner, and then gets pulled into a life of violence and crime. It was okay. I only saw previews of it. I didn't actually see the full movie. I would have to see the full movie to really make a judgment on it, but I'm sure a lot of people have it. Everyone has their own opinion to it. Now, this one I did see, the 1993, the Amy Fisher story. Who does not remember that? So it's a TV movie based on a real-life scandal. Drew actually played Amy Fisher, a teenager who shot her older lover's wife. And she did really good in that movie. Doppelganger, 1993, about a woman who has an evil double out there in the world, and she rocked it in that movie. Wayne's World 2 in 1993 again. That was more of a goofy, like rock and roll kind of comedy. she played a funny role with a heavy she had a really heavy accent. Again, she rocked it out of the park on that one. But again, she's come a long way from this bad girl image to this teenager, and she became a person who just wanted to be loved. She wanted attention. She wanted to be a part of something. And unfortunately, her mother didn't set her on the right path. I mean, if someone, in my opinion, I think her mother wanted the fame more than she did, that she would put her daughter through anything just to get that. But putting fame aside, she was a kid. You know, no kid should have to be subjected to that stuff. But she is, and that's why I admire her. I mean, she's been through a lot. I mean, she's really been through a lot. And the fact that she's still amazing even today. I mean, her own talk show. I mean, she looks great. For her age, she looks really good. She's going to be one of those, what do they say, MILF, MILFs? She's going to be one of those, like, MILFs, like, in the, probably, like, in way into her 70s. She looks great for her age. She really does. So, now, in the mid-90s, Drew started to, again, continue to rebuild her image in her career. She starred in several movies. One of them, which is one of my all-time favorites, Boys on the Side. It's a drama about three women on a road trip dealing with illness, abuse, friendship, and then Drew plays this woman named Holly, who's a free-spirited woman, but she's also fragile inside. That movie was phenomenal. I know I say phenomenal all the time, but I highly recommend that movie. I mean, especially it's more like of a coming of age movie, like three friends, three girls hanging out on a road trip. You know, all three different personalities, and Drew's like this free-spirited, la 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 la, you know, carefree woman who's, but she's also fragile inside. She's got her inner demons that she's trying to work on. Mad Love, 1995, is a teen love movie. She played Casey, a rebellious girl with a mental health struggles, and how the movie shows how hard it is to overcome those when you love someone going through mental health struggles. Also, 1996, she did a horror one for Scream. It was a thriller slasher kind of movie. Drew played this woman Casey, who was if you look at if you've seen the movie, like the opening part was her on the phone with someone. It was totally cool. Like the movie itself was subpar in my opinion, but she rocked it at the beginning. Like that was awesome. And then going forward, now as she aged gracefully. She took more control of her life in terms of what she wanted to be in, what roles she wanted, production-wise. She started a production company called Flower Films, so she can choose her own projects and do what she wants to do. So she had complete artistic control over what she wanted. And the first one she did was called The Wedding Singer with Adam Sandler. Come on, that was the best. I loved it. That was a romantic comedy set in the 80s. And she was this woman, Julia Gulia. She was going to marry this up-and-coming stock market guy, and he obviously didn't love her because he had a side chick, and he was cheating on her. Not a side chick, he was cheating on her. And Adam Sandler got his heart crushed because he was going to get married. Anyways, it was the best. I highly recommend it. Please, if you haven't seen this movie, see it. Especially if you love the 80s. Oh my gosh, I cannot say it enough. This movie is one I have in my collection. I can watch it. I've watched it so many times. I am never sick of it. The next one there's a couple of others she won. Never Been Kissed, 1999. That one she plays Josie. She's the one who's never been kissed, and she's a news reporter now as an adult, and she's going back in time to write some sort of article for school, for her paper. And back in high school she was Josie Grossi, but now she's not. And anyway, it's just one of those movies where if you were bullied as a kid, and now you're hot as an adult. You want to see that. I love that movie. Anyways, and then just to continue, she's done Charlie's Angels, Donnie Darko. She was in that. She was in Riding in the Car with Boys. That's another one of my favorite movies. I highly recommend. But anyways, she's did a lot of work with Adam Sandler, and Adam Sandler is one of my favorite actors. Drew Barrymore and Adam Sandler have such a chemistry together. It's amazing. They're just amazing individuals. They work so well together. So, now we're fast forwarding to the 2010s to current. Drew's kind of backing off a little bit from movies and focusing more on TV. So she's got her online TV. She's got her TV show, which I think it's aired during the day. I'm not sure if I think that's still on. So anyways, we're going to go ahead and end this podcast, but I just wanted to thank you guys for tuning in. You guys are my fans. I really appreciate it. I'm still, I still am new with this, but I want people to please reach out to me. If you have something you want me to talk about, or if you have anything you want to discuss, please reach out to me. I would love to hear from you. You can reach me at elizas.prodigy, elizas.prodigy@gmail.com. I will answer everyone's questions or anything you have. Or if you have a suggestion for a podcast you want me to discuss, please email me. I will definitely consider it. So, on that note, Drew Barrymore is proof, in my eyes, she is proof that you can really, even though you could have a past growing up that was painful and hard and shameful, and having to go to a mental health or a facility to get help, to get cleaned, she built a kinder, stronger future for herself. And her children are absolutely beautiful. I mean, she's living proof that you could have the worst past. Your childhood could be the worst, but it's what you make of it. That's why she's my inspiration. Because I didn't have a good childhood. But when I see what she's done with her life, she is an inspiration to me, and I hope she's an inspiration to everyone out there. On that note, I wish everyone a great day, and thank you for tuning in, and please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's Mistress Sweet Pea, and I will talk to you guys later. Thank you.